Right, hello, you're welcome to my channel. Now in this video, we want to solve for the value of w that satisfies this equation. We talk about the square root of w minus this, so the whole of that equals to 0. Alright, good. So we have some sort of radical terms here, and we want to evaluate this, okay, using some steps which you are going to discover soon. So all I want you to do now is to go ahead and press the subscription button, and then stay tuned and get entertained as you learn as well. Great. And now, let's see what we've got. We've got that the square root of some term is giving us 0. Now, the square root of a number gives us 0 if and only if that number is equal to 0. So that tells us that this inside, under the square root sign, that is the square root of w minus 7 times the fourth root of w, then plus 12 is 0. As I said, the square root of this is 0 if and only if this is 0. So we've equated that to 0. Great. Let me write this as some terms to some power. All right, let me remove the root sign and put the equivalent power of it. So this gives us w raised to the power 1 over 2 minus 7 times, this is fourth root, so that is just like saying w raised to the power 1 over 4, then plus 12. All right, we equate that to 0. Good. And now, the next thing I would like to do here is to make some change of variable. Now, you see this equation? We can reduce this to a quadratic equation. Now, this is what we know. We know that, okay, let me just let you know. We know that when we have an equation of the form 8x to the power 2n plus bx to the power n plus c equals to some other constant d, right? We can reduce this kind of equation to quadratic given that it is of that form. Okay, great. So when we have an equation like this, ax to the power 2n and something like that, for example, I can give you, let me show you a typical example. If we have x raised to the power 6, let's say minus 4x raised to the power 3 minus 4 equal to 0, right? Anyhow you want it to be. So that tells us that this and that's how the power is. So we can reduce this kind of equation to quadratic by doing a change of variable. So I'm going to apply just that right here for you to see. Great. Let me get rid of this. And then that will tell us that by applying a change of variable here, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to say let now y, okay, take care of w raised to the power 1 over 4. So you know that the power 1 over 4 is smaller than the power 1 over 2. So if you call that y, anyway, to get w raised to the power 1 over 2, we need to square this, all right? You know, by squaring the fourth root, you get back to the square root. Great. So that tells us that y squared will be w raised to the power 1 over 2. That is just by squaring both sides, raise this to the power 2, raise the whole of this to the power 2. When you raise a number in an index form to power 2, all you need to do is to multiply the powers. Good. So when we do that, we're going to end up with the square root as I've written there. Okay, so the next thing we'll do here is to get this back into the equation. So where we see w raised to the power 1 over 4, I'm going to put y squared. And where I see w raised to the power 1 over 4, I'm going to put y, right? This is what w raised to the power 1 over 2. We put y squared. Then this is y, just a single y. Then plus 12 equals to 0. Just by doing a substitution there. Now I'm going to solve this quadratic equation by factorization method. Alright, you can use any method. And when you're done solving, you will have that y is 4 or y is 3 as the two values of y gotten from the quadratic equation. Great. So we're going to make a backward substitution because we started with the w. We need to also get the values of w. So we know that since y is w raised to the power 1 over 4, so in place of y here, I'm just going to put w raised to the power 1 over 4. Right? Good. And that gives us 4 because w raised to the power 1 over 4 is the same thing as y. Recall this equation, and that also gave us this information. So here I'm going to say or, in place of y, I still put w raised to the power 1 over 4 is equal to 3. Good. Now, if w raised to the power 1 over 4 is 4, what can w possibly be? The fourth root of a number gives us 4. What is that number? Well, we can get that by taking, by raising both sides to power 4. So we just raise this to power 4, and we go ahead and raise this to power 4. So by raising this to the power 4, we're going to multiply the powers. That will give us just W is equal to 4 raised to the power 4. Well, you check that out. That is 256. Great. Or, again here, we're going to do the similar thing. Raise this to the power 4 and raise this to the power 4. So the 4 here will cancel out with this, and we're going to have W equals to 3 to the power 4 is 81. So these are the two values of W that will satisfy the equation. And in fact, they are real values. Great. Alright, thanks for watching, and as I said, please subscribe to my channel.